Hey, you guys. All right. So, the topic that I want to talk to you about today, a lot of people ask me when they are first getting ready to launch their business, how do I pay for this business and how much do I need to get started? So, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, the first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is how do I pay for this business, right? And so at the end of the day, there are a couple of different options that I recommend when it comes to starting up and funding your business. And the one thing that I always tell people, don't quit your day job, right? Until you are ready, until you have enough clientele and everything where it needs to be. Do not rush out there to just say, okay, I'm going to do this full time. I always say if you have the opportunity to build and gradually get it where it needs to go, then do that. Now, if fate has it where you don't have any other option, hey, go out there and do your thing. But here's a couple of ways that I suggest that you go about funding your business. Now, the first and foremost, you guys, I'm not sure how many of y'all have read my book, but I literally talk about the fact that I have won at this point almost $500,000 in grants and pitch competitions. You guys, these are free. They are free. Some are city sponsored. Some are sponsored by the government. Some are done by the SBA. So take some time to look for pitch competitions. Most of them are around your business plan or your business idea. And then look for grants. Okay, so I've gotten grants that had to do with hurricanes or different things that have hit the city. But I've gotten grants that had something to do with, you're a woman-owned business that's in the spa industry, right? So there are so many different grants when it comes to, what you can look for. But grants and pitch competitions, you guys, that is equity-free money. That means they're not asking for a percent of your business. It's not a loan. They're not asking for anything back. And that is an absolute amazing way to fund your business. It's free money. But just like everything else, it takes time. It just takes time to find those grants. It takes time to apply for those grants. There is an app I'm going to give you guys called Skip. Check it out. It just literally puts different grants on there that you can go in and look at and see, okay, this is a $10,000 Verizon grant. This is this is that. Another good source, I literally put a whole list of them in the book. So if you haven't got it, I recommend you get it. So that is number one. The first way that I say definitely do it is going to be pitch competitions and grants. The second way, when I tell you don't quit your day job, personal savings, right? If you have it, or let's say you are working, you'll maybe take 10%. Say, okay, I make $1,000 every 2 weeks. I'm gonna take $100 and put it in this account and use it to buy products, buy equipment, get my coaching, get my training, whatever those things are. I would definitely say if you have the opportunity to do it and you can, do it. But if you don't and you can't use your own personal savings, here's a couple other ways you can do it. One way that I recommend is crowdfunding, okay? So if you have this amazing idea and you're going to be the first in your city to, have this spa retreat that does, body sculpting only, and you just think your friends, your family, people that you've met at the Better Business Bureau, all kinds of people that you've been networking with would love your idea and support it, definitely try it. There are places like GoFundMe, there's Kickstarter. The one that I used when I did it was I Fund Women. And that, of course, is for women-owned business enterprises that are trying to get started. But there are a lot of different ways to crowdfund. Once again, you're not paying that money back, right? So it takes time. It takes time sharing that message with everybody on all your social media, all your networking events, getting people to share the link. But it can be done and it's free money. So crowdfunding, I am definitely a fan of. Just know that it does take time, okay? So there's two more that I want to go over. And then I'm going to break down some of the initial costs that you guys need to think of, okay? So the next one is if it's not necessarily a crowdfunding campaign where you're asking friends and different things to just invest in your dream, you can get a business partner or an investor. Now, here's the thing though. When you're dealing with a business partner or an investor, They want to see a return on investment, right? So they're giving you this money to financially support what you're doing in exchange for an equity or a share of the profits or a share of the business. That means you won't be 100% owner anymore. If somebody says, I'll give you $100,000 for 10%, then that means they're giving you this investment, but now you only own 90% of your business. They own 10%. And of course, they are looking to get a return on their investment, right? A business partner, same thing. That might be someone that says, hey, I believe in what you're doing. I want to invest $100,000 in it, but I want to be 50-50 partners, or I want to be, 40-60 partners, whatever. You have to think about what that means to you, and are you willing to give up the equity for the capital or for the cash that you need? Now, if I'm trying to buy $1 million building, but I know that I only have 500,000 and I have somebody that is willing to, give me that 500,000, but they want half of the profits, I have to weigh, is that going to be something that I want to do, right? So investors and business partners, definitely, no matter what you do, get legal involved to make sure that the lines are clear, who owns what, who does what. But investors and business partners can be a great thing, especially if they're not asking for a lot. Just think about what that means to you. Do I want an investor who I pay back monthly, almost like, a loan, or do I want an investor who I'm giving a % of my company? Think about what that would look like to you. And then the last one, you guys, this one is the one I'm talking about last because it's the one I don't recommend using as much if you can help it. But small business loans, okay? When you say, hey, I have this idea, I think it's a great idea, I'm ready to invest in it. You can get small business loans, but I'll tell you one thing, before you go for that small business loan, you better have everything in order. They want to see that you have a bank account. They want to see that this idea makes sense, right? Loans, it can be anything. It can be a traditional loan. It can be a credit union. It can be an SBA loan. There are non-traditional lenders. For instance, here in Texas, you have Lift Fund or True Fund. They will lend to people who maybe have only been in business for 6 months. Who are newer, right? Versus a traditional bank may say, you need to be in business 2 or 3 years before I give you money. Another way, when you look at loans, you guys, it's not necessarily just going to your traditional bank. You can use things like PayPal loans. If you have a PayPal line of credit, PayPal says, okay, we'll give you $10,000 line of credit. Anything you charge on here, you have 6 months to pay it off, no interest. Or if you don't pay it off in the 6 month, you get interest on that purchase, right? That's a way to do it. That's a way you can take that money, invest it into the equipment, the training, the coaching, whatever it is that you need, but you don't have to immediately pay that back and you're not immediately getting interest on it. Excuse me. Another way, when people think about loans that they don't necessarily think about is merchant loans. Let's say that you've already been selling some of your skincare products through, Square or one of the other companies, right? But now you're ready to get your own brick and mortar. Well, I need some extra money, right, for that brick and mortar. Well, instead of going through my bank and getting a traditional loan, I don't need $100,000. I might just need $10,000. I don't know. You can get a merchant loan. Square will give you a loan and say, hey, we're just going to take, 10% of whatever you swipe daily. And we're going to give you a $20,000 cash advance. Now, the amount of money that merchant will give to you is based on what you've already been processing. So if you only process $5,000 a year, they may only give you $500. If you're processing $100,000 a year, they may give you 20 or 30. You don't know, right? So those merchants will come up with a number and say, hey, here's our offer. We're willing to give you this amount. And like I said, you're not paying once a month like a traditional loan. They're just going to take a % of what you are processing every month, right? So that's just another non-traditional loan. And there are even companies I've heard, I think like Gloss Genius and all these people who are scheduling companies that give merchant loans as well. So any company that you have been using in your business, there may be an opportunity if you've processed payments or scheduling through them, there may be an opportunity to get money from them. So you never know where that startup funding can come from. But I just want you guys to understand, loans are not the only way. Grants are not the only way. There are many different ways to fund your business. So don't just close yourself off and say, oh my God, I didn't get that loan, so I can't open my business. That is not the case. Think outside of the box. Okay. Now, the other question I get a lot that I wanted to address a little bit is, how much is it going to cost for me to start my business? And you guys, it is different for every single person. And the first way that I'll just show you as an example that is so different and vast, let's just say that, one person is going to be a mobile waxer. You're just going to go out to, your clients and wax them, or a mobile massage therapist. You don't have any overhead, right? All you have to do is get in your car with your bag and your table and pull up to the client. There's no overhead. Versus the person that says, well, I'm going to start this business and I'm going to start with a one, room suite at Sola Suites or Salon Suites or whatever, right? Okay, well, now you're paying $1,000 a month. You have an overhead cost. So you want to make sure you have at least $6,000, right? Just in case if I don't make any money the first 6 months, if nobody walks in my door the first 6 months, can I pay this rent or am I going to get evicted, right? And that, once again, is very different from someone like me who has an entire building, right? You may be paying $1,000. I might be paying $8,000, right? So when it comes to how much do I need to, have, or how much do I need to spend to get started, it's going to be different for every person. It depends on how you're going to structure your business. But I wanted to go over 5 things that I think are extremely important when you put that budget together. The first thing is location. Okay. So are you going to have a brick and mortar location? Are you going to be mobile? Because that is going to make a big, big difference when you're budgeting for your startup costs. Okay. The second thing is going to be equipment. What equipment do you need? Am I just starting off with a massage table and, my wax warmer and my wax? Oh, okay. That's $500. I'm good to go. Or do I need to have a cavitation machine, $100,000 laser hair removal machine, right? So those are going to be the things that are going to help you determine what your budget needs to be in order for you to figure out how much you need to invest. Okay. Outside of your equipment and your location, you need to be thinking about your training and or coaching, right? Do you need to take a specific technical program to help you with the skills you need? And do you need a mentor or a business program to help you get where you need to go? You guys, I am a first generation entrepreneur. This did not happen overnight, and it did not happen by myself. I took classes over and over again. Most of my classes weren't on skill because I had been doing the skills for a while, but I had to get a mentor, a coach. I took specific classes on retail before I pitched to Walmart. You have to invest in understanding what your back office needs to look like, what, you need to be doing. Are you crossing the I's and dotting the T's? And, basically, are you doing what you need to do? And sometimes we don't know what we don't know. I did a live a couple of weeks ago talking about a business license versus your LLC. I can't be mad at some people because they don't know, right? You didn't know that it was something different. So you need a coach or a mentor or a business accelerator program that will explain some of those things to you so that you don't mess up and make mistakes. Okay. So you got your location, you got your equipment, you got your training and or coaching or both. The other 2 things, there's 2 other things I wanted to go over. The other 2 things, software. You guys, every business runs on some software, whether it's your QuickBooks that is helping with your financials, your scheduling system for you to schedule your clients, your processing system for payments. And none of this is free, right? Like some of the systems are just charging a % of what you run. Some of them are per month for you to use the systems. You have to budget for your system. Now, even my website, right? Because we sell retail, I believe that Shopify starts off at like $25 a month for your website. you got to keep that in mind, right? So that you know, okay, I got to have $25 a month for this system, okay? And then the last thing, you guys, for the love of God, if you are opening a spa, please make sure that you have insurance and that you can afford insurance. You have to have liability insurance. If you are buying a $100,000 laser, guess what? You need to have business content insurance, because if my building burns down, I got to be able to replace that $100,000 laser, right? Or maybe it's a $10,000 cavitation machine, whatever it is. So for sure, you're going to need liability insurance, because anytime you're touching someone, whether it's a facial, a massage, whatever it is, and those things start off as low as $200 a month and go up to $2,000 a month if it's like a med spa type of liability, right? So it can be a large range. But at the end of the day, you have to protect your business. What happens if something goes wrong? So you need to have a professional liability. And if you have your own brick and mortar or business building, you're going to need business content or business property insurance. Now, there are a lot of different other ones. I'm not going to go into all of those. But no matter what, you guys, at least start off with those two. All right. So that's what I have for you guys today. The other thing you might want to think about with the spa, we already talked a little bit about LLC versus licensing in one of my other videos, but is there a cost for the licenses that you need to operate your business as well? So that's what I have for you guys today. So we're talking about how much does this business cost, to get started. It could be as little as $1,000 if all I'm doing is buying equipment, a software to book everything, and just getting started with waxing. It could be upwards of, $50,000 if I gotta get the building, move into the building. I have to get insurance for the building and I have to get equipment, right? So look at the list that I've given you and start putting together those itemized things, because I don't want you guys to think, oh, I can go start my business tomorrow, and then 2 months later, which it does take time to ramp up. 2 months is a reasonable amount of time, but 2 months later you're ready to ramp up and you're like, okay, but I haven't had any clients and now I can't afford the brick and mortar and I got to close my doors before I even got started. Hope this guys helped you. I hope this information helped you. I know, guys, this is a lot of info, but it is extremely important to consider all these things. I will talk to you guys soon. Comment below if this helped you. Comment below if you have other resources like the skip one that I gave for the grants. And comment below if you have other questions, concerns, or if you just got some insight that you want to share with somebody else. And as always, you guys, if you love this information, definitely subscribe to our channel. We look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.